Number one thing we do is the credit shelter trusts, credit shelter planning. If that's not enough, now we're going to start looking at the life insurance trust. So let's talk about that for a minute. As we said, life insurance is included in your estate if you own it. If someone else owns it, it's not. So you can have a trust own it. You can have your children own it. The first thing we're doing is we're looking to get the insurance out, because that's often what puts us over the number. If we don't have insurance to deal with, we have to get to more advanced concepts. But often the reason that we're over that $7 million number or a $2 million number, whatever number we happen to be working with, is because of life insurance. So the number one thing I think professionals think of is we need a trust. What we're talking about here is gifting. I mean, that's really what we're talking about when you set up this life insurance trust. You're gifting premiums every year to your children. So to take a step back, how much can you gift a year without incurring an estate tax? Can you gift $10 million to your child? Well, you can gift, you're right, you can give $13,000 a year to, per person.
But you can go 5 years in advance.
You can only go 5 years in advance on a 529 plan. That's a special exception. But you can't just give your child $65,000 today. But you can give $13,000 to your child's spouse. Your spouse can give $13,000 to your child and your child's spouse. So you can give a fair amount of money, and it's a use it or lose it. Every year you get it. You also can give the $1 million during your lifetime. Okay? If you use up $1 million today, and the number is $3.5 million that you can leave at death, you can only leave $2.5 million at your death. You don't get $1 million today plus $3.5 million. You get $1 million, if I don't use my $1 million during my life, I get $3.5 million. So they are tied together. So now we've got this life insurance trust, or we can gift. We can gift $13,000 per child, plus spouses, plus issue. So we can put a fair amount into a trust every year to buy life insurance. Life insurance trusts are very, very common, and especially for people that sell them, they think, hey, well, you need to get this stuff in a trust, get it out of your estate. But the first thing I think you should be looking at is this something, do we need to go through the expense of having a trust? If you have a trust, and the trust says, upon my death, collect the life insurance and then distribute it to my children, you could accomplish that exact same goal if you gave the policy to your children and they collect the insurance proceeds, and then you've saved the cost of having a trust prepared. So there's no advantage there. There's just you make your annual gifts to the trust to pay the insurance premiums, make the annual gifts directly to your children, and they can pay the insurance themselves. Obviously, that's not going to work with young children. If you've got or if you've got children that are brain surgeons and anesthesiologists and want creditor protection, that they can't take their own assets and put it in a trust and get the kind of creditor protection that you can get from leaving assets to someone in a trust. Most of these trusts are built with something called crummy rights. Does everyone know what a crummy right is? What a crummy right sounds like, it's a crummy right, but it's based on a case. Their last name was Crummy. And what it said was, in order to be a completed gift, the person had to have the ability to take the assets out. So what we do when we set up these life insurance trusts is we give them a withdrawal right, a period of time. You have like 60 days to take out the $13,000 we just kicked in. And if you don't take it out, you lose your right. With the life insurance trust, if you've got that child that I can't give them a withdrawal right because they've got a drug problem or something, you can use your $1 million number. They work a little differently than the annual exclusions, and have it be a completed gift to the trust. So you have to start using it up. It's not the preferred way to do it, but in certain situations you have to do it that way. So if you do have a problem child, there are ways to get around the withdrawal right letter if you need to. Most of the time it's not an issue because the parents say, I'm doing this, don't take it. And that's the end of it. Yeah. And if a child takes it once, it's the last time you ever do it. It's but sometimes you just have that concern. And when you do have it, you can, there is a way around it. Who's the #1 creditor of your children? It's the most common creditor.
Ex-spouse.
Yeah, the ex-spouse. Or I'd say your current spouse. or your future ex-spouse. You know, you're not. But that's something that a lot of my clients are concerned about when they leave the assets to the children. They don't want the spouse to be able to get to those assets. And in most cases, inheritances are not for, we'll just touch on domestic relations. In most cases, an inheritance is not considered marital property. However, when you give it to your child can commingle it with the assets and muck it all up. And often in bad marriages that happens. You know, you've got an overbearing spouse that's, you know, getting in all the money and everything. And there's often a concern for that. So you can take that out of the child's hands by leaving the assets in a trust.